Hey, folks, we're back with another From the Armory with Murph and Lassiter. 3-1 podcast. Yeah. Anyway.
That was a good start.
Yeah.
That was a good start.
We're starting out strong. It's going to go down from here. Don't get your hopes up.
Mm-hmm. It gets worse, folks.
Yeah, a lot worse. Don't curb your enthusiasm.
Oh, man, we had a good weekend, didn't we?
We had a great weekend, I think. Did we?
Yeah.
You came up from Tennessee, so is it worth your while?
Well, first and foremost, we'd like to thank our host, Todd Hunt.
Right now.
TM Custom Knives, who's across the way right now.
He's off camera. He'll come on here in just a minute.
We'll bring him on in a little bit for some chit chat. We're actually live from his shop and in Indiana. So yeah, I did drive up from Tennessee to participate in the Warrior Union Foundation second annual Frozen Chosen Hump. It was a good day. ROTC was our Purdue ROTC were out there.
We had a good ROTC.
In ROTC, yeah, I guess we got corrected
on that on Instagram.
I'm assuming that's a thing, so that's pretty cool. Had a good time with those guys. Still, also saw the, of course, always link up with the Warrior Union Foundation. The Bart was out there, Charles was out there, a few others that we recognized, and it was a good time. So always enjoy myself when I come to Indiana. So we are in Indiana, right?
We are in Indiana.
Yeah,
As
only had a couple
by
beers.
The
so.
amazing road clearings that you are not partial to in Tennessee.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I am super impressed with the I guess it's the Indiana Department of Transportation is the one that does it.
Sure.
Anyway,
somebody that drives the truck.
Whoever does it, everybody's got a snowplow because it took forever for Tennessee to clear out and the roads. I mean, there was grass. Todd's yard is clearer than the road leading to my driveway.
Yeah.
Which is real impressive.
Did you snow shovel that? I'm assuming no. Okay, Todd didn't shovel it, but somebody shoveled the walk, which was amazing. So that was pretty cool.
Knocked out. Of course, we're always into Go Ruck. We knocked out the Go Ruck workout of the day.
Iwo Jima Wad. Yep.
So you can see that on. We'll put that on Instagram and Facebook if you're interested in what that is and how to knock that out. That was a good time. When it was over, it was a good time.
9 Irish Brothers yesterday again, which is kind of what we've been there like 3 times now.
Mm-hmm.
We are definitely not virgins to 9 Irish Brothers.
No, it's good to go in the daytime.
Which sounds sick.
I'm just here for
I
the
don't
punch.
know why.
I'm just here for the punch and pie.
Yeah. God, what else? Had Sergeant Rick's this morning for breakfast.
Yep.
Because I'm a horrible cook, and I'll just take you somewhere instead of cook you something.
Which is fine.
Good, because I'll cook for you one time, and you'll be like, yeah, dude, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, then Leslie likes to cook. Whenever you come down to Tennessee, she likes to cook, so we enjoy that.
And if I screw up and get in a relationship again, then maybe my chick will cook for you one day.
Mm. And as always, we're going to tell you what we're drinking. Murph, go ahead.
Upland Dragonfly IPA. I forgot there's a camera there. They're out of Bloomington, but we have a satellite brewery or whatever you want to call it there in Columbus, the Pump House. It's amazing. What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking Country Boy Brew, courtesy of my friend Todd, who had it sitting in the snow, which is awesome. They're out of Kentucky, so this particular one is Shotgun Wedding. Delightful, just delightful.
Yep. And then Todd's drinking a Yingling, but he'll bring that on camera in a minute.
Yeah.
Which, out of Pennsylvania.
So
Pottsville, I think. Sure, he gave me a thumbs up. I guess Pottsville.
Yeah.
Close enough.
We're not going to talk too much onto. We definitely want. I mean, since we have a special guest today, we definitely want to bring him on and talk to him a little bit. Although maybe not in the military, he is a patriot, and we appreciate that. He is a small business owner, and he's going to go over a couple things. Hopefully, we ask the right questions, and he can give us, the best answers as far as like if you're interested in, starting up your own business, and. He's definitely has a lot of knowledge. So we'll actually bring him on right now.
Yep. Right now, apparently.
Come on in, Todd.
Come on in.
So here he is right here.
We're going to have to get tight and cozy, folks.
Tight and cozy.
Yep. I told you he loves veterans.
Is it okay if I just say cozy? I'm not sure how tight I am. All right, are we good in?
Yeah, we're good in shot.
We're good in shot, all right.
If not, Brent can fix it.
Okay.
So the biggest, like I think we talked about it earlier, is whether you want to. A lot of people, whether they're still in or you're just out, you always thought about starting up your own business. Todd is very successful at what he does. It didn't happen overnight from what I understand, and I'd like for him to go over it, whether it's like you want to make knives, whether you want to make, I don't know, porcelain pots, is basically it's about the type of knowledge that you can get from an ounce. This is free knowledge, and I would definitely take an opportunity to listen to it. I think so. Todd, tell us how you got started with knife making.
Well, grew up at a very young age. My dad was always a real handy guy, real hands-on guy, and he had I remember when I was about 5 or 6. I've got an absolutely very impressive long-term memory, but I can't tell you where I put my screwdriver that I just used.
I think that's
I can attest
I
to
think
that.
that's inherent to all men.
Yeah. If anybody, I did just put my beer down right here, so if I'm looking for it, you guys be sure to be.
Where's my scribe?
I see
Where did you have it
You see
last?
that deer over there at 600 yards, and they're like, "Honey, have you seen the ketchup?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember a lot of things about growing up, and one of my first memories of my dad actually doing something really cool was he built this workbench that was like 5-6 foot long by 3 foot, and it just absolutely amazed me that he could do something like that. Well, my dad was always a tinkerer, and he was what I like to call, without being disrespectful to him, resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
And way back in the day, him and my uncle were into shooting traditional black powder, and he was using a knife that belonged to my uncle that I don't know how he did it, but somehow he screwed it up, and he knew that he owed my uncle a new knife, and him being resourceful, he didn't want to go buy him one. Mm-hmm. He says, well, I think I can make you one. So basically what happened, my dad made his first knife, and which is a totally different story, but I was actually gifted that by my uncle here a couple of years ago. I have it. Mm-hmm. And it just, the knife making bug that people call it got into his blood, and you always hear, it's like a potato chips, you cannot just eat just one. When you get into something that is rewarding with crafting something with your own hands, and you make one, it's almost like the potato chips. You always think that you can't just make one, because you always have new ideas and you learn different things, and you always get more tools and knowledge or whatever, and you always think that you can make the next one better. And I've made several thousands of knives in my life, and I still have that mindset to where I can always make the next one better. But so where I got started was from my dad. I remember standing on a milk crate, and he would make, the only thing he had was some hand files and a hacksaw, mm-hmm. and a vise. And for uncles, my mom was from a really big family who had several uncles, and every other year or so he'd make a little knife out of a deer antler that they killed or whatever. And I just remember being so young and just standing there and watching him and just being fascinated that you can make something so useful with just a little bit of determination. And that was the seed that was planted for me, and so that's where I got my start, and it just fascinated me. And I've always been an outdoorsman, and got to the point to where what kind of knife do I want? I could probably try to make that, and I've had many failures and I've had some successes, but still the fascination is there, and that's basically where I got my start as a young kid.
Now, go ahead. No,
I would say one of the very first knives I have from you is the river knife, right? Yeah. We're not going to show a picture, but
Thank you.
But man, no, it was cool because it was obviously purpose driven.
I remember where my beer was at.
Yeah, you did.
It was purpose driven, and like you said, you went to the outdoorsman thing, like what I like to do. I'm going to make a knife to do what I like to do, and that river knife is awesome. Now I might have put it in the wrong sheath for a river type situation, but
I may have given you the wrong steel for a river type situation. Is high carbon.
If I can clean a gun, I can clean a knife. Yeah. It's not a big deal. I can take rust off anything if I have to.
We've had some good ones and we've had some bad
But
ones.
it's patina now, so it's beautiful.
Yeah,
on
so I mean, it's
Instagram
actually
filters.
worth more because it's got its own personality to it.
Now you were apprentice for a while. Do you still?
I don't
that
do
way now?
anything but come down here and drink beer now. It seems like so, but it's.
But I mean, it was
a time-wise thing. Time
It was
and
definitely a cool place to hang out. It was, but I'm sure you found when he was able to show up, you found him to be somewhat useful. So, no, not useful at all.
cleaned out your fridge a couple times.
Did you?
Who, him?
Yeah. No, I was talking about him being being an
What was the word you used?
apprentice or
Useful.
No,
Useful.
the U word.
Useful.
Oh, yeah.
useful. Yeah.
Could you define that, please?
Useful.
It depends on what the
Useful,
word
not
is.
Useless. Okay.
Somebody who doesn't
Yeah.
normally get in the way
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
No. If it wasn't, Murphy is
You
being
can't play that any better.
Don't be weird about it.
Murphy's being modest. To be honest, I would not be where I'm at today without him. As far as well, for example, here we are doing a podcast. Murphy and I have done several podcasts together, and we've always had fun. And it's kind of, and as bad as I think that they're ever going to turn out, I wake up in the morning and we'd have a few drinks or whatever. I was like, oh God, that's going to be terrible. And I listen to it and I'm like, man, and there's nobody that's more critical of myself than me. And I was like, man, this is going to be terrible. And I listened to it and I thought, holy crap, I actually knew what I was talking about last night. And Murph nailed it. And it's just, it's fun, and you develop a rapport with somebody that you click with. And, no, I am not from the military. One of my biggest regrets is that I did not serve. But
you are a patriot. I mean, that's. I mean, if anybody that knows you, and I, I've only met you a couple of times. You can tell that you don't get into something like this unless you're looking to give back to and you can be a patriot whether you can follow your country or you give back to your community, or you're just doing something that just seems American. However you want to define that. And I think that making knives or having your own business and selling and supporting your family through that platform is about as American as you can get.
Well, I appreciate that, but I didn't really set out for any kind of recognition that way, and I didn't really. Even though I'm an outdoorsman and I've always loved knives and this and that, the biggest compliment that anybody can ever give me is that I am an artist. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to sound too artsy-fartsy, but the way that I've been able to express my art side is through knives. I've always been good with working with my hands. Before my kids got to be a certain, well, actually born, when I had money. Yeah.
Before they got to be zero.
Yeah. I always had, I had old cars that I worked on. I had motorcycles I worked on. We did all kinds of lawnmowers. Yeah. 65 mile an hour lawnmower.
Yeah.
That screams American.
Yeah. American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can cut my grass.
I've
faster
even
than you.
even
Watch.
got pictures of me somewhere with a big helmet with deer antlers on it and the beard
yeah.
going down the road.
I appreciate the influx of rednecks that reside in Indiana.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're
It's
in Indiana.
Yeah.
You might be eating raw corn tonight for dinner. Where was I at?
Making things.
Yeah.
Making
Yeah.
things.
The fact that I have been blessed enough to show my artistic side through knives, dare I say, knives almost chose me. But it was through my dad, like with the earlier story that I told you, that's where all that came from. As far as Murph, where I'm at today, is just simply, there's 3 reasons where I'm at today, and that's because of the grace of God, that's because of luck, and that's also very much because of Murph, because he was here for the very get-go of it, and he inspired some really good designs that I have that sell well for me. He's inspired a shitty one or two, but besides that,
I'm
now you're
proudest
talking about
of
the Murph
those.
tonight.
I'm
Yeah.
proudest of those.
yeah, let's go back to the word useless.
Yeah. Back
But
to
no, the one thing that I've always respect about the military is the camaraderie that they develop and the brotherhood. And even though I wasn't in the military, I've never had a brother. Murph has had a brother that unfortunately passed. And so you have to understand that I take this comment very seriously. Murph is the closest thing I've ever had to a brother. And
I get that.
We've seen each other through some damn good times, and we've seen each other pretty much at our bottom. And it was a lot. The thing that kind of saved him and kind of saved me through some of those shitty times was just here, not necessarily of the work that we put out, but just here doing something, trying to be creative and having fun and being on the same page of, a like-minded person that you connect with.
Yeah.
So
maybe that I've not talked much about it, but maybe that leads to just having a hobby, right? I mean, goddamn, going through the divorce and shit like that, coming in here knowing, hey, if you're not ready to, get the text, hey, if you don't want to come in today, man, don't worry about it. It's like, no, I need to be there because it's going to give me something to do. It's going to take my mind off of shit. It was a good place to come into. And like I said, I've always appreciated that you facilitated that and kept me like, hey, here's a task. Do it. Cool. I can do it. And even if it's like the most mundane, whatever, boring task or something really cool that I was into, didn't matter. It gave me something to do other than sit and wallow in my own shit.
Well, we also figured out, as far as a business-wise, we figured out, I don't know if I can give anybody, listening to what you were saying earlier, I don't know if I can necessarily give anybody good advice on how to start a business, but to Murph's point, we figured out all of the ways to not do shit.
Well, tell us about that. That was actually one of the questions, and we'll go ahead and hit on that now. It's like, just like you start anything, I think does, like we're into Go Ruck, and Jason says like how not to start a backpack company. Yeah. Like, how would you not start, not necessarily just a knife company, but any company? How would you, if you say, for instance, you were building, I don't know, I almost had it back to school, widgets. I just dated myself.
You're going to make a widget.
But
nobody does, but everybody knows.
Is that a Kentucky thing?
No, it's Tennessee. Tennessee. No, widgets.
You're not from Tennessee. You don't know where Smoky Mountain Knife Works is.
I do know where it's at because I've been to Gatlinburg. I was like, who is this
Tennessean
fucking guy? He's like, no, I'm from North Carolina. But starting out, what not to do, which would be good advice for if you're one of our 3 listeners and 2 viewers, this is good advice on what not to do. What would you not do?
What would I not do?
What would you not do?
I'd not do it, and I'd become a truck driver.
Yeah. Well, you already.
I feel like
that's some bad advice.
That's defeating our purpose here.
Yeah. No.
Don't do what I did.
Don't do what I did. Be a truck driver. And go. No. Man, the first and foremost, the best piece of advice I can give anybody is, man, just don't give up at it. And that is the easiest and the most basic thing that people don't get. Well, this ain't working out. I'm going to quit. Mm-hmm. And nothing ever came to anybody that quit something. And I get frustrated with that because people's like, well, I've made knives for a year. Nobody wanted to buy them. Buddy, I've made knives since 1996. And nobody bought any of them until about 7 years ago now.
Yeah, that's when they really started moving. Yeah.
So the thing of it was something that I loved doing, and we already covered the bases of all that and why they were. And I never made. Now, of course, we're talking about the knife industry. I never made anything for anybody that I didn't want to put out there, or I gave knives away for years. Mm-hmm. And when they finally clicked, And I still won't say that it's easy, and that's the thing you got to remember. You have to be passionate about it, because if you're going to do something like that for a business, and I hate to use the word passion, because I think of passion, I'm thinking of a 6 foot blonde, boobs. That's what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking of passion. But it has to be something that keeps your fascination.
Well, that's part of art too. Is like, you refer to it, knife making as art. I mean, you got to be passionate about art. I may not know art, but I know what I like.
Yeah.
So I can definitely understand it. Is that when you finally, you said since '96, and then maybe 7 years ago, is that when you decided that, hey, this might be a means because you actually worked full time, at a full time job while you were doing this. And then,
good job.
And then one day it's like, you know what, I can actually, this will be my business. This is how I provide for my family.
Well, my personal situation may be a little bit different than most. I did work a very good job with good wages and good benefits. And it got to the point to where I was working it so much when my kids were in the little age to where you want to be around. And I was working 80, 90 hours a week. And it was a half hour away. So I had an opportunity, and I had a great job. I mean, I'm not going to lie, probably the best job I ever had. And I had an opportunity where I could transfer down to the same company, different plant that just happens to be 2 miles down the road. And I did that, but everything was different there, and I won't get into it, but I went to having one of the greatest jobs in the world to absolutely everything shit in the bed down here. And I was miserable. I did get to spend more time with the kids, but that was only because I was either laid off or forced out, and
Didn't want to work the overtime.
Didn't want to.
Basically life happened.
Yeah, I mean, I really had to chew on some shit too, for a while, and it really made me a miserable person. And that's when I started putting more time and effort into my knives, because this was my release. And as things got worse and worse, I religiously, for like 6 years in a row, made $10,000 less at my job. Didn't matter how many raises I was getting; they was cutting my hours. And that is a hard thing when you have a family of four. And plus, it was turning me into a total asshole because I was really stressed out about it. And at the same time, the good things were happening through the knives. Like I said, I made my first knife in '96, and nobody bought them for 10 years. I gave them away. But when I really started putting the effort into it, because that was my release, that started happening to where I either needed to put more effort into it or just back off. And so I decided to take the plunge just because I was really, really unhappy in my current situation. It was affecting my marriage. It was affecting how I was as a father. And so with about 2 years of talking to my wife over it, she said finally, at one time, she says, "Todd," she says, if you think you can do it, then do it. And I remember the thing that she said, there's a saying somewhere, and I don't know who ever said it, and I'm not trying to take credit for it, excuse me, but it was, if you think you can or you can't, you're probably right.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, I can do this because I love doing it, and blah blah blah. And the thing that finally broke the camel's back was my son was he was just in little pee wee league or little league baseball. He used to coach his baseball team.
Swinging the hammer stage.
Yeah, swinging the hammer. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
And he was talking to me, and he said, "Dad," goes, "I finally think I figured out what I want to do." He's just a little kid. And I said, "What's that, buddy?" He says, "I think I want to be a professional baseball player." And I said, "Well, that's awesome, man." He goes, "Well, but it probably won't happen." And then I said, well, why do you think it won't happen? He said, he had a discouraged look on his face, and he says, "Well, I just don't." He didn't think that it would happen. Now he's 16 now and doesn't give a damn about baseball, but that resonated with me, and I thought, how can I encourage my kids to be better if I say, go out do the things that you want in life, accomplish things that you want in life, but yet I don't set the example by doing it myself. And I turned around and gave my notice the next, it was on a weekend. I went in and gave my notice that Monday. And
that took a lot of, I mean, biggest thing that you can take away from it is, like, you know, as you said before, have passion on something, want to do something, but it also takes a giant set of church bell balls to, like, step out of it. I mean, because you, like you said, a family of 4, you've had a good job, you have responsibilities, excuse me, as an adult, you know, as a father, as a husband, and to step out of that comfort zone. And to, luckily, I mean, and like you said, a little bit of luck, and, you know, and definitely a lot of God and people to support you. It's like, but it takes giant balls to actually step out and do it on your own.
Well, we have sub-freezing temperatures in Indiana right now, so the old balls ain't as big as they.
No, you're making light.
Nobody's looking. We'll take the word.
And yeah. I dig the fact that you're making light of it, but it is like a lot of, like I said, I've only met you a couple of times, but the respect level has, like, went from here to all the way.
Like, I really thought you was a piece of shit until you got drugged down here today. But no, I appreciate that. But I need to, as maybe as inspiring as that was, I don't want to make light of the fact that there were several things that I didn't think about. I believe that, you know, I you know, with all those things that happened, and then I went to, you know, I had to think that, well, I'm going to do something, doing what I think is a God-given talent. I'm using what God gave me to do to make a product that people will like or they won't like. You know, I can't speak for other people, but there were some things that really need to be considered more, because I will say I was a little cocky about it. Mm-hmm. Because for years, I mean, I started getting really, really good at this. I mean, several years before I finally quit. And I got cocky about it because everybody in the world, I actually got introduced to a lot of bigger names in the knife industry. Again, this is where Murph comes in, from him. And, you know, some of the people I have on my... When I was a little kid, you know, going back to that, when I was just always so fascinated with knives, because, like I said, my dad got me into them, and fishing and with my grandpa, and hunting with my father-in-law, and all these things. But when I was a little kid, I was absolutely fascinated with these knives, and we used to always drive our bicycles up to the grocery store, and I remember looking through the Blade magazines, which now that magazine would be like a newsletter.
Blade,
you know?
gone now, right? There's Knives Illustrated and all that other stuff. Like
no, Blade magazine was around back then.
Okay,
yeah,
but I mean now though,
yeah. And I remember looking at these knives, and they were just fascinating to me. And I always thought to myself, there's absolutely no way in hell I'll ever be able to afford one of these knives. But I bet I could make it.
You're right. You can't afford them still.
I can't afford them.
We talked about it. I was like, God, I was like, I'm gonna take, the quality is there. I've looked around. I was looking at the scales. I'm looking at the pins that he used. I'm looking at everything, and the quality is there. But they are. I tell you what, you get what you pay for. And we've talked about that before. It's like,
we don't want to derail him, but
no, I don't want to.
Yeah, I had a point there somewhere, but
somewhere you were going to bigger names in knife making.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Knowing a lot of
the point is it's a good quality product.
I guessed you were going to Ed Fowler and Jerry Fisk and guys like that.
Yeah, they're on my speed dial. I can call them all up right now.
Yeah.
And where we was going actually was the price of that.
Oh yeah.
I have accomplished everything that I ever really wanted in the knife industry. I really have. But it came at, everybody says, oh, well, he had the balls to do something, and he went and did this. It did come at a price. Contributing to a 401k, having to buy your own insurance, having to, I've got a senior in high school daughter that's getting ready to go to college. I've got, and all of those things need to be thought out a little bit more than what I put the effort into thinking. I'm like, man, I was so frustrated with my life at that point. I'm like, I need something different. And I think the pride in me said, well, even if it's something bad, you'll end up learning something from it anyway.
Yeah.
And in that respect, I did have a little bit of guilt to where it took me a few years to actually get over towards my family, because I sacrificed a lot, as far as retirements and so there I sacrificed more than I thought that I did, and the guilt came where I knew that my family would have to pay for it. It didn't really turn out that that's the case, but if going back to the advice, if I had to give anybody advice, look at it from every aspect that you have to deeply consider every aspect of it, and who does it affect, and how does it affect, and whatnot. And also in my case, there's a lot of people that really don't have to deal with this, especially in what I do. One of the strangest things that I didn't realize would affect me, and this, I really don't know of any other places, any other businesses where this would be in effect, but I spend a huge amount of my time alone. And you don't understand how that can affect somebody too, because I was used to working in a factory every day with 600 people, and half of my day was socializing. And when you get up and you're completely alone all day, your mind tends to wander, and I was explaining, I had this guilt with my family. Did I do the right thing? Am I being selfish? And when you're alone by yourself for 12 hours out of the day, and you sleep for 6 hours out of the day, and you have 4 hours or 3 hours a day of being around other people, and your mind tends to wander. At least mine did.
Well, if you're at a job, you can hash that out with people that you trust.
Oh, yeah.
You can say, hey, man,
Yeah.
bounce that off you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
I had too much stuff going on in the melon, and there's a lot of things when starting a business. That would be the best information I could give you. Is one, you have to be passionate about it, because it's going to turn into a job. So if it's a hobby, it's going to turn into a job. It may still be a cool job, but don't think you ain't going to work your ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still going to be a job. You're going to work your ass off whether you go to a gas station,
I remember
a
you telling
restaurant.
me that. This is going to ruin the hobby for you.
It's going to ruin the hobby because it's going to become a job. Now, is it a cool job? Yeah, but it is a job, just like anything else. And so there's, first of all, you have to be passionate about it. You cannot give up on it. And you just need to, but you need to be very educated and look at every aspect.
just basically be prepared for, any result, whether
Be
it's,
prepared for things that you didn't even think would be on the radar.
and I think for a lot of our listeners would be the alone time. I could understand how that would get inside their wheelhouse, if you will, as far as like having the time to. It's because a lot of times you have pressure on you already, and then you just put added pressure by added responsibility. And I know for not necessarily for me, but like I said, a lot of listeners that deal with stuff on a daily basis that come into question. Even their their very existence is like it is something that's a hurdle that you're going to have to get over.
You get wrapped around the axle if you think about it too much. Yeah,
absolutely. So that is of everything that you said, which was really good advice. That is the one thing I want everybody to key in on is it doesn't happen quickly, and you're going to have to deal with this day by day.
Something else with when you were talking about not giving up, you didn't just like keep doing the same thing over and over.
No,
you did the same thing, and you were learning. You were constantly evolving, constantly moving. Hey, I see people are doing this, I'm going to try doing this to see how I can do it. You were constantly moving, you were constantly improving. Because if you do the same thing over and over again, right, that's the definition of insanity, expecting the same result.
Exactly.
Or expecting a different result doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
You weren't doing that. You were,
can't.
What can I do to inch towards this?
You can't. And there's two parts to that. One, exactly, you couldn't have said it better. Don't expect different results by doing the same things or the same behavior. And but at the same time, that works perfectly for me because I get bored with things.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to do something different. One, to please my own satisfactions. And two, because if I just had to make 20,000.
The workhorse line, yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing. The widgets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had, I'd go nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you telling me at one point, like, hey, my idea is to make you do the workhorse line, and I'm going to go this route and do stretching your legs. I think you always called it. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do and do some more artsy, craftsy type stuff with my blades.
But see, that's evolved too because I've had people come and go that have helped, and I have realized at this point that I don't get frustrated about that anymore. I had an apprentice that just
not me.
No, not him. Lasted one day. He came here and basically I told him, I said, you're going to learn the craft. He wanted to learn the craft. He was a sponge for knowledge. I want to learn the craft. And he came here, good kid, seemed to be pretty smart, old enough to know better. Wasn't an idiot by any means. Worked hard, and I told him, I said, I will teach you the craft by you helping me make my stuff. And if you get to the point to where I know that you're not going to pull your fingers off within my equipment, if you want to come down here and work on some of your stuff, you're welcome to use my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he lasted one day. And I actually know his father. I used to work with him a long time ago, and he called me up, and he's like, man, I apologize for that. I said, you don't need to apologize to me. And he said, well, it goes, my son had told me that when he came home, and he says, Dad, I didn't actually realize he completely handmade every aspect of the knife. So,
what was his expectation? Do you know? When he
I don't know. I think what he expected was I just do final assemblies, screw on handles, and shove them in sheaths that somebody makes for me.
Knife kit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get us another beer and take a leak.
Yes.
Actually, take a leak first and then get us another beer.
All right, we're gonna lose Murph for a little bit.
Be sure to pick up the beer before you take your leak because we actually got it.
Yeah. Oh, we'll keep this thing up. So there was no. I mean, did he ever talk to you afterwards to say, hey, this is what I was thinking?
Well, yeah, no. I mean, he's gonna sugarcoat it. Well, I got this going on.
Sealed that shit up.
No. Oh yeah, you can't. No, you can't do that.
Hey, it's okay. We'll do it live.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it live. You ought to go out there and record him peeing.
Yeah. I'm going to try to move it. Like, it takes forever to get it set up. But he didn't ever say is like, hey, because like for me, I guess, being 51 years old, I was like, if I
You're
have
51?
I'm being 51. I am
Good
51.
Lord.
I don't know how to take that, but thank you or fuck you. It's like, but
you ain't gonna throw out a hip or nothing like that.
No. But he didn't say, like we were talking about that earlier. Is like, we actually stopped and helped somebody, try to help. They got stuck in the snow, and Murph went to go get, basically, fill up his gas can. We brought the gas can back, and the kid had to be in his 20s. Didn't say, he said thank you, I appreciate it, but didn't offer him any money. I'm not going to get into the troubles of the youth today or sound like my father or anything like that, but I could see what he was talking about, and I guess every generation has issues. Like, did this kid ever say, hey, this was my expectation, and I'm sorry, that's not what I thought it was? It's like,
in his defense, yes. I told him what my expectations were, and he's totally agreement with it. And then when he came out here and actually figured out what it was, he did say, but I mean, he played the I've got life excuse card, and I've got this, I've got that, and he did say that he was sorry for letting me down and whatnot. And I have no problem. I don't get me wrong, I'm not bad talking this guy. He's got his own thing going on, and I appreciate what he did bring to the table for one day, and I have no hard feelings or no ill will towards the guy. But my point was, there's been people that have came and gone. So let me try the and basically what that has taught me is there's nobody responsible for my product than me.
Mm-hmm.
So
it does say TM Hunt. So,
yeah, it does say TM Hunt, and so I have tried to figure out how to be more productive. The little CNC back here has helped out tons.
Which is a skill set in itself. So
it is, and
anytime you involve software and keyboards.
Yeah, the only thing I've ever used a computer for was to check my email and look at tits. So I actually when I
now you can draw them on the CNC.
I can draw tits on the CNC.
Just something wrong with my scales.
Yeah,
No,
I can make them as big or as small as I want. But yeah, and I mean it's absolutely changed the way that I make knives, but I don't know anything about computers. So when I bought the piece of equipment, and I'm, investment too is another thing. You have to figure out that you're going to be spending some money on some equipment. I don't care if you're making knives or you're making donuts or you've got to have
that's a
the
good piece of advice
to do it.
Heat treating Rockwell, right?
There is absolutely no way that you can accomplish things without the tools to do it. And this is a $10,000 piece of equipment.
Did you have to take a loan out on it? Did you like this? Because I know for anybody that's listening now is how much, and I know I don't want to get completely off subject, but how much like startup money did you need to get everything before you even sold a knife, where you had income, everything was money going out, right? So how much did you have to bring in, start up with?
Well, again, my situation was a little bit different because I had that good job, and a lot of my things, like when I worked on the cars and the bikes, like I've got a lathe over there, I've got a mill over there.
So piecemealing pieces at a time, or
well, no, these were things that I acquired
that you already
that I just saved up money for. Collectively in my shop, I don't even know if I could give you a total of what's in here, including the fact that I built the shop myself. But there is a very, very large piece of money out here. Now, again, like I said, my case is probably a little bit different because I had a good job that I could work while I saved up for a lot of this stuff. Some of these pieces I got through deals, and yeah, this one was a tough one to chew. It was a $10,000 piece of equipment. I've had it 2 years and it's already paid for itself. So
taking a lesson from your old man, being resourceful.
Resourceful,
which is one way to put it.
Which is one way to put it.
Which is
exactly.
one way to
still
put
got
it.
the old standbys, the files, the hand files.
Oh, I
and all.
still
You
use
didn't
them
give up
every
on that.
day.
You're still
I still use them every day. I still
line
use
files,
these.
yeah.
Well,
I still use
that's where the
sandpaper.
handcrafted stuff
Yeah,
comes in.
yeah.
It's like,
There's not one knife that has my name on it that doesn't go through my hands. Right here, where we're at right now.
I know a girl like that.
I haven't
was
had
that?
this one yet.
I got the WeMac.
Oh yeah, that's good. Have you not had it?
No, this is my first. This is my first one, and I'm not even Scottish.
Oh, by the way, I've got something for you.
Oh, I like this. This is going very well. What are we doing?
This has actually got a funny story to it too. I almost bought that tonight. They have it over at the new liquor store.
Oh, the new cork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I almost bought it because it's an IPA, and I know hey, you're a big IPA. It's a
Citra
citrus
ass
IPA.
down.
It's
That's amazing.
You can't go wrong with a koozie.
I like it.
But I thought you might
I'll-
dig it.
Yeah.
So
Well, I can't think of that. But
Gina
yeah.
and I went to the Rails
Your wife.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my wife.
Yeah.
Rails. And
I've met
Thank
her.
you.
It's like this is the second time I've been here, and I actually met her. She was out in the shop the first time I was out here.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, well she
Yeah, I felt like a dick because I had to get back to Tennessee, and you were cooking hot
or
dogs.
something, Yeah. Brats, probably.
see that hasn't happened long enough in my life to where I remember it yet.
It's
that's
I don't
still
know
part
if
of
it's
the
I don't know if
short-term
it's a
memory.
fortunate thing or unfortunate. Like
That's-
I suffer from the same affliction as I remember everything.
Yeah.
And it drives my girlfriend insane that I recite everything back to her verbatim.
Yeah, well, Yeah, it has to be 5 years gone until I remember it. But here's a good example. What the hell was I talking about?
We're talking about going to the Cork. You and Gina went to the rails.
No, yeah, we went to the rails. And this gal was our waitress. And she came out there and she starts talking to me. And she was like, Gina wasn't even there. And I mean, you guys do a visual podcast. I am not that handsome of a dude. And
They see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Make sure you comment
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.
Comment, like,
Either agree or disagree.
Yeah, no, everybody's going to agree. There's going to be thumbs up popping right now all over the place. But this gal kept on coming out there and talking to me, and I ordered a beer, and she, of course, I ordered the tall ones. She come out there, and maybe it was that tall from the top. And she goes, well, I just changed the keg, and that's not completely full. I'm not going to charge you for that one. I'm like,
keep going.
I like where your
okay,
head's
Keep
at.
changing kegs.
okay. And Gina's over there kind of, got the scowl. She's like, do you know that gal? I'm like, no, not at all. And she comes back out, and this is the age of COVID, she comes out there and she goes, I thought you might like this. I want you to have this. And she, well, fine.
Oh,
thank
it's getting
you.
good now.
Yeah. And she walks away, and Gina's like,
Business is about to pick up.
who is this bitch? And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea. I swear to God. But anyway,
Stop giving me stuff.
stop giving me shit.
Get me in trouble, but I
Yeah, you
enjoy
might
the
want
free
to
beer.
say hi to the other person on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, shit. I have no idea. I must have had the charm that night. I don't know. But anyway, she gave that to me, and I thought it was pretty clever. And like I said, I just about bought it tonight, but they only have like a 4-can thing of them.
Okay.
They're like $15. I didn't think I
Not
liked
worth
you that much.
$15. I thought I was one of the top 3 reasons you are where you are. Jesus, man.
Yeah,
That's
if,
cool,
it,
whatever.
if it was $12, you would have got them.
Oh, you spent $15 on a bag
If
of
we
dick
got
tips
Knife
today.
Maker of the Year from Blade Show, I'd have probably got a 4-pack of $15 beer, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right.
I figured, like I said, I didn't know what kind of beer he liked. But I am not an IPA person.
As long as it's not IPA. I can do an Imperial.
So,
But as soon as you step it to full blown, it is. We just dropped the nuts of hops inside of a keg.
Yeah.
That is not my scene, man.
So I will do you this. I will say when we come up and do the Toddcast up at your house, I'll bring that up because I would like to try one, but I don't know if because they're the 16 ounces.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do a whole one, but I wouldn't mind.
We'll
trying.
just go to Zwanzig's at that point and get some stuff. We'll get a couple growlers.
My daughter's boyfriend took her to Zwanzig's the other night.
Okay.
Swansea's is a
I
pizza
thought it
joint.
was humorous because they're not old enough to drink,
Yeah. So did they get like the craft sodas?
But that I don't know.
Because they have those there.
She's a
Those are pretty
teenage
tasty.
girl. She don't talk to me. You know how
Yeah,
that
that's
goes.
true. Yeah, she's like, "What'd you do?" It's fine.
How was your day?
Great.
Fine.
Nobody died.
Right down the hallway she goes.
Anybody get pregnant? Dad.
Hey.
All right, well, screw it. It's like, yeah.
You know what I really dig right now is like our usual listeners, all 3 of them, are like, when are we going to start rambling? That happened like 5 minutes ago,
yeah,
and it's the most awesome thing in the world is when that happens, and we appreciate you being a part of it because
I can ramble all
it
day.
is good filler.
If you've seen or heard the podcast that we've ever done, I mean, it goes off the rails quick.
We start out really serious, and then it goes to shit right after that.
The whole How Knives Got Their Name podcast we did.
And tonight, I'm not trying to.
I don't
No,
ruin
no,
it
go
because
ahead.
I'm looking. I'm
Cross-pollinate a little bit.
This is my first one I've actually been a guest on the.
We're going to talk. We should talk about that though. But
I actually
I'm
had
gonna
some
go into
feedback.
stuff.
You didn't cover all of them. You didn't
Yeah.
cover the hedgehog.
oh, I heard. Yeah. Well, that was a thing too. Yeah, I remember hearing the hedgehog.
All right.
But I was like, yeah, dude, that thing went from we're just going to talk about the names to let's just talk about everything going on in the world
The
right
Margwa,
now.
I knew the story. I was like, I wish I was listening live right now. I wish
Yeah.
this was live. I
I'm
was like,
pretty sure that there's not a female basketball player in the world that'll ever listen to us.
No, it wasn't basketball. It was softball. I pissed off the softball players. Every softball
I
player.
think I brought the basketball players into it.
For those of you
yeah.
that who don't know, Corey loves sports.
And he loves big, butchy women.
No.
He loves sports.
No, if you're a
his favorite
CrossFit
things
chick,
are-
absolutely, but not when it comes to softball players and God, I don't know what the other
CrossFit?
thing was.
There's one thing he
No, I
hates
said
on
I
a
love
woman is
CrossFit
a penis.
CrossFit chicks, absolutely.
Cross fuck yourself.
Yeah. But no, softball players, God, man, I don't know what it was. I just went on a rant that day.
Damn,
And I'm pretty sure I said
Yeah,
something
it
about
is.
the
Isn't that good?
Chinese. I don't know what it was, but it derailed us big time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We were talking about the CNC machine.
I do that.
And then I just watch it. Whee! And it was
But
awesome.
we got to hit on that too. The
All of
whole
ours goes to shit. Real quick.
Toddcast and all that, so we can't forget that for
Yeah,
us.
we will.
Whenever
But I
that
definitely,
happens.
just a couple more minutes.
You're watching time, so you're keeping that.
No, I'm having fun.
It's just like
Now,
the
see, when
watch.
Spencer's going to be here, he's going to hold up fucking
Well,
signs that
here's what's
says
funny.
10 minutes,
This is what's
like
funny.
we're in a motocross race. Last
no.
time.
Spencer, yeah, he's the world's worst lap girl.
Ooh,
but
Haley
he
Diggin.
holds it up and he holds up this sign that says something
He does have big
because he's
tits.
trying to be. He got big tits. But when he tries to be quiet, and then he turns around and he throws in some
It's gonna
crap.
be a disgrace.
He'll hold up a sign. And you go 5 minutes. I'm like
Do a
5
German
minutes, and
Shepherd
he'll
voice.
go, "Yeah, Todd." It's like I thought you were being a silent producer. You're still talking. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun. He does.
I,
great
matter
job,
of fact, I think that was how one of our podcasts flew off the handle real quick because
Yeah.
when I was younger, I had dirt bikes and I used to always love going to motocross races. I wasn't talented enough to race or anything like that, and it always reminds me if you've ever watched a motocross race.
Well, yeah, I remember the signs.
They hold them signs out. And we're being serious. We're covering a topic, and Spencer's on the other side there, and he's holding up them signs, and I just stop, and I'm like, what are we, in a fucking motocross race here? And then it just, like you said, just went from there.
Does that say Deegan?
Yeah.
Is that Deegan? It's like, what's he doing? It's like, he's more of a freestyle.
Pit in 2 laps.
Yeah. You don't know when I need a pit.
Yeah.
But before we do wrap up, I want to, we'll wheel it back a little bit. I want to talk about. I want to get to where can they find you at? What website? Where
Here,
can they
Yeah,
find
they can find me right here.
Sparrow Fart in Indiana.
Well, of course, I have a website that,
You don't know.
Brent, make sure you put this up.
yeah, I don't know what it is, but oh, actually, that's we were talking about Spencer. I need to give him a little bit of because we pretty much disrespect him on all levels.
Was he on your Christmas special?
But it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
he was
fun.
the guy running. His wife
Yeah.
decorated.
Dude, I
the
was
Gina.
so
Dude, they
mad
did
at some of
great.
the comments, because you were for me, it's like it's Christmas, is like get
Christmas Eve special.
yeah, that was awesome. It was like it doesn't matter if it said, Todd Hunt on it or TM. It was like it's Christmas in the spirit of giving. It was like some
people will never be happy, and that's
It
another
was like,
thing.
what did you expect? It's like
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you a $400 knife. It's like
No, I gave somebody a $1,500 knife.
yeah,
Is it still that one?
and it wasn't me by happenstance.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but TM Hunt Custom Knives, basically,
.gov.
no.
.org.
No. Man, you can Google me and everything in the world will come up. And I'm not patting myself on the back. As a matter of fact, it absolutely amazes me. As far as purchasing my knives, I have 8 dealers. And again, not trying to pat myself on the back, but usually stock is low. And they're always after me for more. But like I said, I am a one-man show and don't really have a whole lot of help. So I've just, and that's what I was wanting to get at earlier. Instead of, figuring out that all of this was my responsibility, I just decided to take the artistic side to the workhorse line.
Yeah.
And it's like what you got, like with the bullseye
handles and all.
and stuff like
Can
that.
I pick one up and show it?
I'd prefer you pick one up that's finished.
Over there? All right.
Yeah.
Well,
And what's the
Can you-
every
go ahead.
every night, the one that Murph's about to show here as soon as he grabs a finished one, is they're all every knife has a purpose.
Yeah.
What would you recommend be the purpose? Because like for me, like we're both outdoorsmen, and I think that's why we do that thing. But
Whichever. I don't care.
but that includes hunting, fishing, but also camping, hiking, of any type. So go ahead and
This is my Magua model, and
which is what you made for my
yeah,
daughter Megan.
yeah, many.
there's nothing on the screen. Is it still going?
Yes.
Okay.
Out a little bit.
This is the model that I call the Magua. I don't know where we're at here. Don't.
Just
Stab him with it.
This is a very, very basic small knife that I make. Are you okay?
I'm looking.
don't worry about it.
so I'm
It's,
like,
even if it's not
are we
videoing,
still going?
if I hit start, even if we're not videoing, it's we're still recording. So
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're still recording.
So I don't need to hold this out here like an idiot.
So for those listening,
Especially
at
so
home,
close to my
we'll
throat.
describe this
Look
knife
here.
with interpretive dance.
Yeah. But anyway, and as you can see, it's got like a bullseye handle. If we are not visually recording, imagine a knife handle that looks like a Zakk Wylde guitar.
Can we find it on your website?
This
Definitely
one,
on the Facebook page.
yeah. I have a website that is soon to be
Unveiled.
revamped. No, revamped. It's been unveiled for a long time. It's been almost impossible for me to keep product on it for sale, but I do have a batch of these coming up that's going to be on sale at my website. And as far as my dealers go, all right, let's see if I can get them on. I've got USA Made Blade in Salisbury, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
I have Old Town Cutlery in Cumming, Georgia.
Yep.
I have DLT Trading out in
Michigan, right? Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
I've got,
Duluth, Minnesota. Yeah.
okay, that was DLT. I've got
Blade HQ.
Blade HQ, Smoky Mountain Knife Works.
In Tennessee.
In Tennessee, if you live in Tennessee and don't know where it's at, you're not from Tennessee. Did you hear that before?
I haven't. I'm from
What's,
North Carolina.
I got Knife Center,
Knife Center.
which
Yep.
is Dave.
Yep, Dave
And
Anderson.
then I've got Land Tech, which is out of Kentucky.
I don't know that one.
You know that one? You live in Kentucky, or you
I actually that's where me and my buddies go dove hunting is in Sebring, Kentucky. So
Okay.
I'm sure it's
And-
close to that.
I've got an eighth, but I can't remember what it is.
Is
But
it northern?
Very important.
But yeah,
I don't want to take away from them.
yeah,
Oh, there's no fucking chance they're gonna hear that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're all.
And then I've got my website that there's going to be stuff on. I haven't been able to put stuff on in my store for about the past year due to demand. And I'm just changing things up the way I do things because I want to get stuff back on my website because that's what it is. And you can find that at tmhunt.customknives.com. I'm on Instagram. I am on Facebook. And I have a private Facebook page that is, we do a Friday night raffle every Friday night. It's called Potluck Friday, where somebody wins a knife.
Usually his mom. And that's
My
not a
mom's
joke
won
toward his
couple-
mom.
My mom has
It's like
actually won a couple times.
She's won a couple times.
Kim
yeah.
Miller is
But I mean, you can't play if you don't. I mean,
yeah.
you can't.
I've jumped
win
on there a
if you
couple
don't
of
play.
times
But, okay.
and rolled the dice.
Why we're talking about this, because I was confused. So, with the Facebook page, you still have the regular Facebook page, but you have the private one you have to be invited to, or you have to...
You have to request or
Okay.
be invited,
Yeah, okay.
and it is TM Hunt Custom Knives owners and shit.
Users group.
Yeah, what is it?
But you, owners and user group. So you
But
have to,
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity on there because everything that moves on there, maybe people that have one used that they want to sell. Every Friday, I offer something for a raffle, and it is at a discounted price. Everything on that page is what you can get on there is at a discounted price.
very discounted, because if you pay $20 for one chance and you win,
Yeah, you
you
got
get
to
a
say a $300 knife.
$300
Yeah.
knife for $20. That's
Yeah.
discounted as hell.
Yeah.
You still make your money because enough people throw in on it.
Sure. But I still,
the person on the other end
the
gets
amount of
$20.
chances I sell are still discounted
Yeah.
compared to what retail
Right.
price is. So,
So that's a lot of
A lot of
where to
information.
find him.
Yeah, a lot of where to find him.
And we're gonna have.
Do you have anything else final before you wrap it up?
Man, we could do this all night long.
Any
I mean, we-
magic? This is
we're
I'm
gonna spin
enjoying.
ar-
I'm enjoying
and
the banner.
The Toddcast. Hit the Toddcast. Like, plug
yeah.
that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when we hang up here, I have a Toddcast, not a podcast, because, I just really don't like podcasts.
I only listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
And as luck would have it, your name is Todd. so-
Yeah. So anyway, I do a Toddcast that is basically shop updates, and Murph is my co-host, and it's just basically more of this type of banter, a little bit more drunker.
A little less restrained, maybe.
A little less restrained.
Yeah.
But we talk about knives, we talk about beer, we talk about gear, we talk about our life experiences. Sometimes we cry, but we mostly laugh.
I've never cried. You have.
Laughed or cried. It was much better than cats.
Yeah.
It was like my first sexual experience. Speaking of cats.
Whoa.
I think our cat's about to go to the boneyard.
Oh, Leo's about to bite.
Yeah, I got up this morning and it was like he exploded. Gina decided it was a good idea to get him because he's not eating really well. Oh, I'm going to get him this high protein stuff. And she got him this high protein stuff, and he repaid her by shitting. Let me see if I can get it right.
Paint?
Protein paint. In the tile floor in the kitchen, he threw up. On the back of my recliner, he threw up. On the carpet, he threw up. On the end table, he shit. And
this cat is very appreciative of his situation.
He's just looking at me like, how are you not dead?
Let me give back.
Well, we don't know exactly how old he is, but he's got to be at least 16 to 18.
God, he's close, man. That's some bitches.
And I feel bad because I never was a cat person, but Leo's all right. You know,
neither one of us were, and I inherited one when I bought my house. A cat came with it, and then another cat. His name is Aries, and he just showed up, and all of a sudden now we have 2 cats.
Yep.
Now my dogs, I'd take a bullet over my dogs.
Oh yeah. Yep. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah, because we're
I've
friends
seen
on
my
Facebook.
dogs.
No, I just got a new German Shepherd.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
A little gunner.
Yeah,
Little human shit making machine.
Yeah, they turned. My mom and dad.
Like, did you shit the floor?
My mom and dad.
I'm not old enough to do it and forget.
My mom and dad are not animal people whatsoever. Neither is my sister. I have one sister, an older sister, and I don't know where my love of animals comes. I think it's because of my despising hate for humankind. I don't know, but I absolutely love animals.
None of our listeners have anything in common with that.
Yeah,
we totally all agree with
and my mom and dad's like, well, the only thing they do is turn food into shit. I'm like, well,
I've heard that line from you several times.
Yeah. But I love my dogs. I got 2 golden retrievers. I got Sophie and I got Benny, who's the 90-pound pup.
Yeah, that's the dog of an outdoorsman. That's for sure.
And I'd take a bullet for them.
Yeah, I come to find out in most cases over my animals, I would take a bullet over.
Yeah.
There's very few people that I would. Yeah, I can completely understand that. I was trying to think of like how many people. It's like, I don't need all my fingers to count them.
Yeah. And when you get to them, they're like, hey, I think they're about to go to the boneyard or something, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, okay, they're assholes.
They can ride this one out.
Yeah.
Outside of the camaraderie we built in the Marine Corps, there's tons of people there's tons of people that I would take a bullet over with, but they don't, most of them live in, Michigan, California, Oregon, and
goddamn Indiana.
Come on. Oh yeah, the guy in Indiana.
Remember, I was a piece of shit until
there's 2 of you now.
Yeah.
Well, for Todd, I take a bullet.
We know how to clean roads, man. What the hell?
But not in the face. Not in the face, because that's how I make my money.
Casket and whatnot. Yeah.
Like.
Did you ever watch the A-Team?
Oh, the old one?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why they call it
like
face.
The same age. I forget about that.
No, he's older than me.
I'm 51. And I have no idea.
Yeah, he farts dust, man.
You got more gray than he does. You got more hair than he does too. So
I don't suffer from that. That's a lovely coif, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And people ask me how long I'm going to grow it. As long as it keeps annoying my wife.
The only thing I can't. We talked about it on the podcast before. Is like I can't. It gets to a certain length because I started shaving my head, and not to bore you guys because you heard this story before, but in 2001, and it was outside Camp Diarrhea.
Yeah, Demonia. Yeah.
And
by
the time we were like 4 months in Mont 4, we got the gear on, and by the time we got around to actually able to cut your hair, it was just a buildup of freaking, like, if you picture like a brownie, but stacks of brownies like on your skull.
What did we go, like 5 months without a shower? 4 months?
Yeah. So
like
my
uniform.
uniform.
You have a shower?
Yeah, you had baby wipes and basically a toothbrush. If you had that, you were passable.
My uniform that I was wearing had changed a different color of brown and could have stood at the front door. It could have been like a scarecrow.
Really?
It could have stood on its own.
Dude, our stuff was crusty as shit.
I bet there was some serious swamp ass going on.
We didn't. You could become nose blind.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what you
when
smell
you hear
like.
somebody say, "Hey, there's a pile of shit in the floor," and nobody noticed. We were the pile of shit.
Yeah, give me here. I want some potpourri.
We were
That
the
is way
reason
better
that
than what's
nobody
going on.
knows. Yeah.
So anyway, at that point, I shaved my head up until the point where I retired in 2013, and I just continued. Like it gets to a certain length now, and I'll shave it because you can see. I mean, it grows outside of Lassiter here. It still grows all the way around, and I'm sure just like, for the not to date myself, but John McEnroe?
He's 51.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could grow it and
John
and be
McEnroe.
creative.
So
with
would
it.
you have a skullet, or do you have the full head of hair up here?
It's full head of hair.
Okay,
So
all right.
It's full head of hair, but I just get it just irritates me, so I'll shave it.
Yeah.
So my beard, I'll grow as Murph can say, I'll grow it down to here.
Yeah.
I'll grow it up to there. I'll shave it. I'll let, like right now, I'm letting the goatee go as far as, and then I'll just get bored and I'll shave it off. I just like you is like you don't get used to one type of knife. You try to better yourself. It's like I just get bored.
Yeah.
So and I think that's why I get into like the different thing. That's why I find this so interesting. I'm not going to start my own knife company, but it is interesting. So just so you don't get bored. So with you as knives as me is like I just shave my. It actually just starts to itch. I have no idea what started.
I don't know where we were going or how that ended up.
But
there.
anyway,
We
on
were
that
talking about
note,
plugs,
well, here's
where
to
to
your
go,
itchy head.
Toddcast. Toddcast is available on Stitcher, iTunes, all the other.
I don't
anywhere
even
you
know,
find
man.
your
That
shit.
that deal fell in my lap.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah. So
actually-
Spencer runs that. We can link it.
Yeah.
and
We'll
you
link
can
it.
go from there on.
Yeah.
we'll link it. with
And
that
I'll be
being
on
said-
that one shortly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be posted first.
Yeah, well, Brent's pretty fast. It depends on how fast he gets paid.
All right. Well,
Spencer's headed here in about 30 minutes. He should
I
be headed
very
by
much
this way.
appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude,
it was a blast. I
We
hope you
look
guys.
forward to it for a long time.
I hope you had as much fun as I did. But with that being said, make sure that you like and comment below. Again, we
Subscribe.
appreciate you. Subscribe.
Fucking comment. Goddamn, nobody ever comments on shit.
The guy yelling to
We'll
you
do it
off
live.
screen.
Sorry. Well, maybe we're all off screen. We don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was recording before, but if not, it is on audio, and Brent can be. He's pretty creative. Todd, we definitely appreciate your time.
Appreciate being
We
here.
appreciate you, and we definitely appreciate your hospitality now. And with that being said, I think we're going to wrap things up.
Excellent.
And your weapon is never clean unless
It's loaded. I don't know. There's a 20 in the chamber
it's
or some other shit.
or it's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
So make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and
Jerry Springer said
do something. You do. It's fun. Oh, we're fucking besties now.
you ripped off Jerry Springer. Are you kidding me?
No. Take care of yourself. Do something good. Pay it forward. We'll see you next time. Talk to
Bye-bye.
you later. Bye.